Welcome to Morning Journal, session number 407. I'm your host, Jared, and thank you so much for taking a few moments to start your day with me. The prompt that we're going to be starting with is, what would I be stronger without? What would I be stronger without? Sometimes I think about what's missing, what might be standing in the way of me achieving what I intend to achieve. I feel like I need to add something when really the problem isn't what I need. The problem lies is in something that I already have that's holding me back. What can I lose so that I can then gain something better? So response in the chat is fear. Maybe. Many times I hold back because I'm afraid of what may be possible. Possibilities can both excite us and scare us a little bit. So without fear, I would be stronger. Or maybe it's the case that I can learn to do it scared. Even if the fear doesn't go away, I won't let it stop me. It's worth trying to get a clearer understanding of what the fear might be trying to tell you. Sometimes it's a legitimate indication of danger. So without fear, I would be stronger. All right, let's take a look at another prompt here. In what area of my life do I choose to raise my standards? The most important phrase in the prompt is choose. We can look at our current state of affairs and think about all the things that we should do or need to do. And I think sometimes when we are faced with the shoulds and the needs to, I think those words can spark some sort of inner rebellion. I think almost as there's a silent or implied I don't want to that comes after almost every should. So I think it's important to try to use language that doesn't disempower you. So let's think about areas that we choose to raise our standards. I think it's useful to honor our dignity and our agency by recognizing that we have a choice. Because even when it feels imperative, you're still choosing. You're choosing to do the thing rather than accept the consequences. You've made a choice that I don't want to deal with the consequences of not doing it. So I never have to. I just have to choose between the consequences or the action. So we're talking about a choice to raise our standards. We are creating a new lens through which to evaluate some area of our lives. So in the chat, we have a response that says, I choose to raise my standards in the way I allow myself to be treated by myself and others. It's not acceptable. Some of the things that you have allowed are not acceptable. I'm choosing to raise my standards and not accept that anymore. I think it's important to, when we think about standards, we want to have, in a lot of areas, we have to be very clear and strict with the standards that we hold ourselves to. But we have to be generous. Well, we don't have to be. But it may be helpful to be strict with our own standards and generous with our standards that we expect of others, because where we get into the realm of things that are outside of our control, because we can't control other people's actions. But in the case of how someone treats you, you don't have to accept that, because you can always walk away from it. You don't have to change. I just need to leave. So we choose to raise our standards, and then as we continue to meet them, we continue to grow. All right, we have one more prompt. What is one wise decision I can make today? The thing about wisdom is it tends to take things into account beyond what is obvious and right in front of you in the moment. When we are acting in a wise manner, we are not responding simply to our impulses. We are taking in consideration our standards. We are taking into consideration our intentions and our goals. We're thinking about what we want to have happen here. So the wise decision that T. Mizzle is going to make is to be prepared. I know this thing is coming. I know that it's going to require some things of me in advance. So let me be prepared. Let me show up ready. They said if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. So being prepared is a wise choice. All right, so let's kind of sum things up. Let's take a look at the arc of where we're going. We started by thinking about the things that we would be better off to let go of, or we would be better off or stronger without. Maybe there's some extra weight that we're carrying that's not necessary. Maybe we need to lose something to gain something. So we thought about what we might be stronger without. Then we looked at our standards. The standard is like the floor, the minimum acceptable level of a thing, of an area in our life, the least that we will allow. Because I think a lot of times when we are imagining achieving something important or excelling in an area, when we think about growing, sometimes we get fixated on the max, the top of the mountain, our peak performance. But really what makes the most impact are the days when you do at least meet the standard. If you consistently meet the standard over time, that's where everything compounds and the growth happens. And then finally, we kind of broke it down from general standards for an entire area of our life to a specific wise choice that you can make today. What's one wise decision that you can make today? Maybe you are faced with a specific choice, and then there's something inside of you to say, okay, it will be better to do this than that. We're faced with those moments of decisions all the time. We have options in front of us all the time. So what's one wise decision that you can make? And then once you start benefit from accumulating those wise decisions, then, your life might look completely different in a relatively short amount of time. This has been session number 407 of Morning Journal. Thanks for taking a few minutes with me today, and I hope you make it a good one.